sit down and really enjoy it. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to sunny Florida.
Yes.
I got up the other morning, I thought I was back in Massachusetts. I do a lot of lecturing, not only in the church setting, but outside the church at different functions that ask me to come in. And I do it. And in the lectures that I do, I can ask questions. For example, what do you think about this or that? But what's very fascinating is angels is coming up more. It's actually fascinating. Because I remember being a Catholic boy with my family, sitting in the church, listening to the minister, or the pastor, talking in Latin. I had no idea what he was talking about. I hope he did. But we were sitting there, my brother and I were more interested in the beautiful paintings on the stained glass window of the smiling angels with the wonderful wings looking down at us. Later on, I got out of the Catholic Church, obviously, and became a spiritualist. I never really looked back. But I never seen an angel. But when I ask questions after the lectures, people come over to me and tell me their experiences with angels. One of them is very interesting. This woman, this girl I know, she's in Melbourne, and I trust her on what she said. She was taking an examination to become a tax counselor. Don't ask me why. That's what she wanted. And she stepped out in the street. The red light went on to stop the vehicles except one car. I can say that now because I'm from Massachusetts. One car hit right for her. It was that close. And this is interesting because she was picked up in the air, and at that time she had high-heeled shoes on. Her foot hit the top of that car, and she was placed on the side of the street, on the curb, or on the sidewalk. She looked up, and she saw this tall gentleman looking at her very closely. She turned around to look at something else, looked back, he was gone. In my estimation, that was an angel. No question about it. So God, with all the infinite power that God has given us a lot of protection on the world. We have spirit guides, of course. We have our relatives who are in spirit, who come back to us an awful lot of times. And angels. Now, I'm up here at the podium talking about angels, where I never saw one until September of 2020. I came face to face with an angel. And I want to tell you, she is the most beautiful angel I've ever seen. I should have got a phone number. And her name was Mary, and it was confirmed twice by two people who had no dealings with it. That was what it was. Another fellow who took a picture of me from my book, The Meaning Within, was in Vietnam. We were both in the service, but my unit didn't go across, but his did. And he was telling me that they were being fired upon even when the helicopter was coming in. And when he hit the ground, it was just a bombardment of enemy fire. He saw a log over, not too far from him, and he ran over to it, or snuck over to it, and stayed in front of the log. He heard this voice say to him, "Move to the back. Move to the back." Nobody around him except him. He did, he jumped over to the back, and just after he did that, an incoming hit exactly where he would have been. Exactly where he would have been. So God, as he used to say in the old days, God works in strange ways. I don't believe that. I think God works in loving, caring, compassionate ways to protect you and I. To protect you and I. However, we have this problem with our subconscious mind. We don't believe everything because we think we know everything ourselves. And we really don't. And I'm typical of that. It took me a long time to believe the faith that I'm in today. I had to put it to a test. And I think when people do that, you respect it more. But you got to remember that the spirit side of life is like an airplane. It flies over an area and sees total picture of what's going on for miles. We as humans are on the ground floor, and all we can see is from here to there. From here to there. So we really have to depend on our spirit guides all the time. When I was taught years ago, I won't tell you how many years, I'm only 30. Who's laughing? Well, I was taught on a way of connecting with our spirit guides. But I really believe today all you have to do is think. You don't need text, by the way, because they're not going to text you back. But all you have to do is mentally say, or physically say, I need your help. And you're going to receive it. Because they're that close to us. Many times we sense or feel their presence around us, but again, the subconscious mind saying that's just an imagination. I like the word coincidence, by the way. When things like this happen, they always say, well, it's coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence. It's divine intervention. Divine intervention. Another friend of mine was in Vietnam, and he was told to take a squad of men, I'm going to say on the right-hand side of a fork in the road in Vietnam. But all of a sudden he got to that fork in the road, and something told him not to go to the right, but to go to the left. And he took his squad to the left. The squad back of him went right and get wiped out. So Spirit does work that way. All we have to do is to be open up to them. And that's not easy. It's not easy. Like I said, it took me a long time to do that, because we always have to have proof. We always think we're smarter than they are, but we really aren't. Now God, and of course we call it in spiritualism, the infinite intelligence, is always with us. No question. God is there. But he also sends these messages, and by the way, that's what an angel is technically called, is messenger, and that's what spirit is messenger, to help us to go through life. And what we went through in this earth side in the last year has been up and down like a roller coaster. I'm sure we all agree with that. And it's because of spiritualism and our belief in spirit that's really helped us to weather the storm. Can we do it? Yes. As long as we believe that we're not alone, that they have us pretty well protected. Most of the people will say to me, you know, my grandfather passed away several years ago, but I see him once in a while come in. Is there anything wrong with me? I say, of course not. I'll get a hold of Dr. Demento anytime for you. But that's them coming through. And we have to accept that. So, accept it. Accept it. And say thank you to them too. Because they're there to help us. And I thank you for listening.